Okay, hello everyone. I'm Alex.
Hi, I'm Mariella.
And today we're going to talk about some things that I've been exploring. And one is called belief repatterning. And a lot of us have probably heard it, and it actually falls in line with affirmations in terms of changing our thought, changing our mind, changing our beliefs, right? And that's also been coming up with like some subliminal messaging stuff. So for me, the conversation is around like the brain and how our brain works in supporting our beliefs.
How did you find out about this?
So at my last job, there was a belief repatterning facilitator at our work, and she was one of the youth workers, and she supported our team in doing some belief repatterning, some like inner critic to inner coach stuff. And that's where I first heard about it. And then my coworker and I had met up, an ex-coworker, met up just this past March, and I was going through a downtime. And she said, you know what, I just did like the flip your switch belief repatterning weekend that we had been told about years ago. And she's like, and it was amazing. She's like, it just like shifted me so much. So I did it. And it was actually really hard. It triggered, like I went, like I had to book it. And then when I did, I was feeling actually a lot better. But I got triggered and I felt really stupid. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't get this. It's going so quickly. Like, ugh. Anyway, so I wasn't good, like in a good emotional state for it. But I decided I would continue just with one of their suggestions is picking one word a day, picking a word from like these group of positive words. And every day reflecting on how I've experienced this word in the past and how I can fulfill and experience that word today. And that shifted something for me, which was really cool to experience and how it felt to do it. And you had to really think about it. And then I recently did it again, since I'm in a better headspace for that, even more so. And it was like extra powerful, which was really cool.
How was it more powerful?
It was more powerful because like that feeling of being stupid and not understanding it. So I already had like a level of understanding, and that allowed me to be able to hear things differently. And because I was in a different mind space, I was able to do it differently. And actually, that's where I did. We talked on a previous thing about vision boards. So I did a personal vision board. They support, it's called an emotional charge card, and it's kind of like a personal vision board. And that's where I did it. And I set it up on the west side of my room on my little altar. Anyway,
So what did you put on the board?
it's just a whole bunch of images or words that represent you and how you want to be, how you are, or how you are wanting to be. And it was
So
really...
how is it connected with what you were working on with the repatterning?
It's focusing on the positive pieces, right? So if we are always focusing on the negative, we're continuing to strengthen those neural pathways. And it can be really hard, and people can be like, I don't believe that, or that's not real. So then don't, right? So step back, what do you believe? And then focus on that, like those positive pieces, and allow them to come in and find out how they actually show up in your life to help strengthen the new ones,
pathways.
the new positive pathways. So I've noticed that even the other day, I was talking with my boyfriend, and there was like this challenging situation with a friend that came up, and I said, and it was like, I didn't even skip a beat, and I believed it. I'm like, I'm so grateful that I have friends that teach me about my boundaries. Right? I didn't be like, this friend's so annoying. Like, it's so hard. Why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to keep pushing my boundaries? Why do I have, that's a little exaggerated, but but I was able to like honestly say like, you know what? I'm glad I have this person in my life. And
Pushing buttons and stuff?
yeah, that was more of like a boundary thing,
Yeah.
like for myself.
Teaching you boundaries.
Yeah, so they teach me my boundaries. And it just rolled off my tongue, and it was something I believed. And it was so much more positive than something I would have said in the past. And I'm trying to, when people are giving me compliments, I'm trying to actually take it in and experience it. But
Yeah,
one
that's
thing
very important.
Yeah. And one thing I learned this last time is we, well, as human beings, and I don't know if as women it's more common, but I think just in general, our society, for some of us anyway, has told us we are valuable by what we do, right? And the thing is, we do so many things. We accomplish so many things. And one of the one of the little things we had to do was, in a quick 2 minutes, come up with a whole bunch of things that we accomplished within certain periods of time over this past year. And my brain was like, what? What have I accomplished? Like, I don't know. And my brain was like, just...
I remember that.
Yeah. It was just slow, right? But then when I stop and I actually think about it, I've accomplished so much.
Yeah.
And some of it isn't measurable in the tangible piece, but in my personal growth, it's been huge.
Yeah.
And there are pieces that we don't value, that our society doesn't value. And we don't take a look at those accomplishments and value ourselves and be like, yeah, good job, Alex, good job.
Because some of the things other people can't notice, right? It's some work or some things that you do it on your own. And if you don't recognize that for yourself, then it just goes on the side, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so once you start recognizing, it feels like the believer patterning is all about recognizing and pulling on the positive so that it's just right up front and center. So it's not this idea, it's a reality. And so you strengthen that reality by continuously bringing it up front and center. And I've really enjoyed it. And today a friend messaged me because she thought I was doing this past weekend, and she said, Alex, I hope you enjoy the weekend and it's as powerful it was for you as it is for me. And I'm like, oh no, I already did it. I've done it twice and it's been great. So I really am grateful to her for sharing that with me.
So you did it twice with the same person?
Well, that friend had done it and she's the one who told me about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's one main facilitator, Suze Casey, and yeah, so she's the one who facilitates that here. So I did it, but it was interesting because you're in a different mind space, so you experience something different every time, right? You can listen to the same podcast, you can read the same book, and you're going to get something different each time just because of your state of mind, where you are. I remember the first time I listened to Alan Watts, and I was like, what the heck is he talking about? That makes no sense to me. It's beyond me.
He gives lots of amazing things.
But then I think it was after I'd done some breath work actually, I listened to it again and like mind was blown. I could understand it and I'm like, shit, I love Alan Watts. Right? So
I want to listen more and more.
Yeah, and so really where we are is what we absorb.
Yeah, it's very interesting. When I just met you, do you remember we were in the car and you were actually doing your training with me? And we were talking about your experience with hypnosis. And it's very interesting because you are feels like you're almost graduating, you know? Because I remember you told me that one thing that the hypnosis person told you was that it came up that you were working on feeling of being stupid, right? And I think everybody feels that way in a certain point in life, because everybody feels like you can do things and you're smart and everything, but sometimes around you there's someone or something that happens and you're like, oh, I can't do it. And why can't I, right? Yeah, but it's so interesting that you're feeling so good about it.
Yeah, so I feel like the belief repatterning has been
Yeah.
huge. And yeah, so that's been really powerful for me, and I'm really excited about it. I also, in combination with that idea of creating new neural pathways, is I've listened before I go to bed for half an hour. I listen to affirmations to put me to sleep, because they say your brain
Yep.
is at that stage of, I think it's theta waves, and that's where you can kind of repattern your mind, right? It's that state of not conscious, not unconscious, that middle state. It's like a meditative state as you're
Yeah.
falling asleep. That happens when you wake up and when you go to bed. So those are the most powerful times to learn and repattern. And so I've been listening to that one about like confidence and abundance. And I've really, it actually now whenever I listen to it, it puts me to sleep. So like last night, I'm feeling really excited about a workshop that's coming up this week for me. My mind was really quite busy. And usually that's not a problem. Usually I lie my head down and I'm out. But last night my mind was spinning and spinning. I'm like, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put that on. And I put it on, and as I'm listening, all of a sudden I'm out.
That's great.
So not only is it supporting my me on so many levels, I don't even know. But it helps me sleep. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Very
that's
interesting.
what I wanted to share. And it's funny because a lot of people I've talked to about the belief repatterning, they're like, oh no, that's like, it's like just saying positive things is supposed to make things better. That doesn't work. Just using affirmations doesn't work. And that's the thing, it's not about that. It's not about just, being positive, fake it till you make it. That is not what it's about. And I do understand fake it till you make it can work. But I think there's lots of reality, and we have to choose to see some of the reality and start small. Like if you think about where I was in that first time, and working on this feeling of being stupid has been a lifelong journey. And so then from that to the next time, how different that was. And obviously different things in life were, many scenarios in my life were different. That 6-month span, but it's not about faking it till you make it. It's about literally...
Or it could be.
What I'm talking about is not that, but...
But I feel like there might be somebody else that would work for them, right?
There are times when fake it or make it works, right? Like when I think about when I'm feeling really down, if I'm having a down time or a bad day, but then I have to go to a client's house, right? So I go and see a client, so I put on my like, everything's amazing, everything's wonderful, and I try and be super supportive to these women, and you know what? It feels really good to be that way. And when I leave, I'm in a much better mood. So I had to fake it to go into it, but then I came out really in that state.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think fake it or make it can work, but I remember in the depths of like some of the depression when people are like, just think positive, and it's like,
yeah, when you are in that feeling of depression, it might be different.
So there's I totally
you might
respect.
even feel that you are like that is even like an insult sometimes, right?
It is. It definitely feels that way. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not what I'm saying to anybody here. It's not about, like I said, not about fake until you make it. And if you're feeling really down, it can be really hard to do. But when you start kind of coming out of that and you can start connecting to those positive pieces, this idea of this belief repatterning work can just help accelerate that. And I've seen it for myself. I've seen it for my friend who recommended it to me. I was surprised when I saw her the way she was. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I have to do this.
Yeah. I think we talked about something like this before. I think with, what's her name? Remember we did an online class with the commune website, and there was this lady, I can't remember her name, but through the course, she would show you like help you recognize what feelings you were feeling that you didn't like, and there's a list of feelings that you can choose from.
Right, yeah.
And then you like repattern into positive feelings.
Yes, yeah.
And you work into it until you feel better, right?
Yeah, yeah. So there's lots of tools out there. Mine is called belief repatterning. That's just like a specific.
I'm thinking there's so many ways, like the what is it called? MR?
Oh, EMDR.
EMDR, that's
But
repatterning too.
It's repatterning, but it's not looking at your mind and your neural pathway. Well, it actually is on some level, you're right.
Yeah, in some level.
But that's getting a counselor to support you in doing some like desensitization
and then repattering.
Supporting your body to naturally repattern, using your body as a tool, not necessarily your mind. They all kind of works together, yes.
Yeah.
But
they use the eyes to repattern. And
they
the
can,
eye movement.
And sometimes tapping.
Yeah, tapping, or there's something else I can remember, maybe sound.
The EMDR I did, she was just tapping me.
Yeah.
Just in one spot, tapping, and getting me connect to the sound. And
yeah, the one that I saw was moving the eyes first when you're feeling the negative or uncomfortable feeling in one way. You follow with the eyes, and then when you repattern, you go another way. And it's the same from feeling uncomfortable to feeling comfortable, going to the root, not problem, but situation that started it all. And then just, desensitizing and moving forward. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, lots of cool things out there.
Yeah.
And we keep exploring them all.
Yes.
So that's my share about belief repatterning and the power of thought. And we're off.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Have a good day.